Hello, welcome back to the Wellness Agents, where we stand for thriving in a changing world and knowing there's always more to learn. I'm Sarah.
And I'm Karen. And we're in this beautiful treed garden out the back of Balingup in Western Australia. And it's just thriving, isn't it, Sarah?
Thriving.
It's spring and there's certainly lots of budded trees and fresh air. It's a bit more overcast than we'd want, but then it might get a bit warm, so we've got a...
It's pretty perfect spring day.
Pretty perfect spring day. Yeah.
We thought we'd get out and about because things have been a bit intense, I think, for both of us. We've been busy times, so it was like, let's have a tree break, and why don't we film from where we have our tree break, which is the tree park. So we've been here probably for about an hour, and we've been just walking under these ancient oaks and elms and cedars, pear trees, and already you can feel the calm, can't you?
Someone's got the dial and just pulled it back.
Just being in the presence.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And there's sheep grazing over in the next paddock, and not too much humanity here, so it is very peaceful. Very
so
quiet.
we thought we'd talk about, a lot of people are feeling the pressure of the times we're living in. So what can you do? I think sometimes you have to give yourself permission to walk away and
unplug a bit.
Forget the to-do lists and just take a drive, take a walk, get your bare feet on the ground, which I haven't done yet, but we will do shortly, and just soak it up. It's like, it's hard to explain what the trees do, but there's a lot of research. There's a lot of books, there's a lot of research to suggest that when you're under the trees, magic happens, and they emit what we need, and we breathe out and we feed them. So you're already in this synergistic sort of relationship with nature that sort of makes you feel good anyway. So
and just looking at the different greens, like every tree seems to have its own sort of brand of green, and it's gentle on the eyes, it's gentle on all the senses, and the amount of birds we've seen today.
Heard. You'll probably hear them in here. And springtime, there's plenty of blossoms and flowers, and it is like a feast. And I think sometimes we can get too busy, and for some crazy reason, even though it's only, into the latter part of October, Christmas appears on people's radars, and that seems to add another layer of pressure and time restraint. So it's like, really, can we drop all that? I suppose it's like, can we drop all this ridiculousness over being busy? And how important is it?
How much of the busyness is necessary? I mean, both of us have been busy in our workspace, and that's us doing our purpose. But perhaps if everyone took some time out, they would also be able to learn ways of sustaining themselves through those overwhelming times, and just the energies of that last full moon. If you're sensitive to the moon, I used to, for decades, could get headachy around a full moon. Oops, there's some building noise going on. But like fitting in with the season of spring and renewal, and like almost our New Year's resolution should be from now, isn't it? Like, what do we want to grow for the next 12 months?
Yeah.
And
what's emerging? I think as you come out of that winter dormancy, and nature reflects it, and the trees reflect it. It's like the trees now that are getting their blossoms and beginning to fill out. It's like they've been nurturing those seeds over the winter dormant time. So it's like seeking, what is seeking to emerge within you in this season of spring to sort of align you with your heart more. What's going to make your heart sing more? Taking the time to notice. And there's that old saying of, spring is a time for spring cleaning, and it does feel like that because there's a freshness in the air, and it's like you want to shred or shred and shrug off all the old, all the heaviness, all the lethargy, all the tiredness. So it's like really take the time to immerse yourself in nature. And we've actually had to schedule this in. So it's almost like schedule this time in. It's as important as your appointment with your next client, your appointment for your next,
meeting or something.
physio or whatever you might be doing, massage appointment. This is just as important to, start scheduling in some nature time into your diary so you make it happen, and it doesn't just happen once you get desperate enough that you really have to go. So I think that's the big message for me, is planning.
To avoid getting to burnout and just thinking, I just want to get off this bus. Whereas if you've got that time allocated, you go, oh, thank goodness, heading out to the trees or heading out to the beach. And
it takes planning, doesn't it?
It does take planning, because otherwise things get in the way.
Yeah, and prioritising it as important as all the other stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, and the other thing that we've started today, well, I started yesterday, is our spring cleanse. With the mung bean soup.
Yeah.
And that's all we're on for the next 48 hours.
Yeah, 2 days of mung bean soup, 2 days of kitchery, and just giving your body a chance to sort of
refresh.
Yeah, purge the old, take time. And it's really funny what happens in your mind when you sort of start to think that you're going to deprive yourself. And the mind can run away, can't it? Because like we planned this trip, and then this morning I woke up and thought, oh no, we've planned our trip out, which was going to be a cafe lunch on our fasting day. What a misery day. Oh, I thought it was going to be a misery day. But we've packed our thermos of soup each, and we've been out under these beautiful trees and had our first soup meal, and we'll have another one before we go. So it's sort of really good to break those habits and challenge your mind and just say, oh, okay, so why would you think it's going to be a misery day? In 4 days' time, we can go to the cafe, we can go back there again. But it's funny how the mind works and how
you
we get
immediately
stuck.
see it as like deprivation or something, but rather than just do this, my gastrointestinal tract will just kind of go, oh, thank you.
Yeah. Have a motivator. Put a picture of yourself in your most vibrant on the fridge or something to remind you that's where I'm going back to, because otherwise layer upon layer of sludge accumulates and you just feel heavier and heavier. So we're clearing the sludge on many levels today and having a break. And if you are going to do a spring clean, then you also do need to consider being kind to yourself, and being in nature is one of the best things you can do, just to take your time and don't expect to fulfill a big schedule.
Yeah. But it's also like we were sitting up under a tree in a paddock behind us, and we were just sitting watching this one. It was more a bush than a tree, like it wasn't overly grown, but the tiny birds that were flicking in and out, and then there was a red-breasted
little robin or
some variety. But they were just darting here and darting there, and we were just sitting watching. And it was when you realise that you've actually slowed down to the point to see what's going on around you, that those birds are constantly on the go. How often do we notice that sort of thing? Except for when they're waking us up in the morning.
So I guess the message we wanted to send out was coming into the middle of spring, and as we go into the second half of spring, what do you need to thrive? How can you thrive in this changing world? Maybe ask the question, ask it of yourself. For some people, they might get the answer while they're out walking. For some, you might want to grab a pen and a piece of paper and just ask the question, what do I need to thrive in this spring? And then see what comes. And even sometimes putting the pen in the other hand and writing the answer gives you some nice replies. So
it can be a confronting question to yourself. What brings me joy? I can remember not that long ago thinking, well, I don't know. I don't know. And you do know. It's just you don't take yourself there because you're always being practical and, well, that's not going to happen. Who says it's not going to happen? Like if you make it happen, you can have And it was real joy sitting there watching these birds darting in and
Yes,
out.
yeah,
That was
yeah.
beautiful.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
leaving you with that sort of inquiry, what's seeking to emerge that will help me thrive as we move into the second half of spring.
Yeah. So I guess that's what we're covering today as far as remembering that there is always more to learn, and thriving in this changing world will have its challenges, but it doesn't need to be negative.
And it's the journey of life. So embrace it all.
Embrace it all.
Take care. We'll be back next week.
Okay.
Bye.
Bye.